welcome back to Binge Warmers.
Like it's an echo. Like it's an echo. Because the show's called Echo.
Cut. No, just kidding. Yeah, today we're reviewing Echo. Try to do something clever there, and Hopper just...
He did it the first time, but like didn't overdo it.
Yeah.
And so I just was running with it. So now I decided to make fun of it. Remember to like, subscribe, hit that
noti.
I love the noti, baby.
I love it. I love it too, bro.
Hit us with a comment. How do you feel about Echo? How do you feel about Echo in the future of the MCU? How do you feel about
I just let you guys know right now. First of all, spoiler alerts for the show Echo. Second of all,
5 episodes.
We didn't like it.
Well, Steven didn't.
I didn't like it, and Hopper said it was aggressively mid.
Yeah, I think it could have been a lot better.
It could have.
There was okay stuff about it.
I would out of 10, I gave it a 3.7.
I would straight up 5. I almost said 5 o'clock.
Yeah, 5 episodes. Honestly, should have just been called the Wilson Fisk show with no Wilson Fisk in it.
See, I was gonna say that, like, that's the stuff I really liked was the Wilson Fisk stuff.
Yeah.
But even still, like, his characterization was a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about it.
We're gonna talk about it.
The series info says Maya Lopez's ruthless behavior in New York City catches up with her in her hometown. She must face her past, reconnect with her Native American roots, and embrace the meaning of family and community.
What does Rotten Tomatoes give it?
You're not gonna like it.
I know I'm not.
Audience score 62.
Okay.
Still fresh.
Yeah.
Average tomato meter 74%.
So listen, guys, we were debating on if we were going to do this or not. I always planned on watching it. I don't think Hopper had any plans to.
I wasn't going to watch it, no.
And so I watched it with my girlfriend. We kind of binged it over 2 days. And at the end of it, I was so upset with this show that I messaged Hopper. I said, I need you to watch this, and we're doing a video on it because I am just so disappointed in this TV show. And I don't understand, because me and Hopper talked about it, like how badly this show can do, but then like WandaVision can just soar. You know what I mean?
Well, and I hate to be this person who says Echo is not the Maya is not.
Yeah.
They never call it Echo.
No, they say it once at the very end of the show.
Well, and it makes sense because it's like they say like, oh, all your ancestors are echoing through you. It's it makes sense.
My main gripe, I guess, with the show is that it seemed to do nothing and go nowhere. That's like if anyone were to quote me, that's what I'd say.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning, we're set up to think. For those of you who don't know, Echo first. Maya made her first debut in Hawkeye, the Christmas we call it the Christmas special. It was just the Hawkeye show.
It was like it felt the same way.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we're doing some stuff, but that had like a conclusion,
and it was kind of just fun, kind of light.
Yeah, I mean, and we know Hawkeye. Like that's
Yeah.
the thing too. We've seen him in several movies, several projects.
Yeah.
At this point, we know who he is, and that's the same reason I would say WandaVision swords because
Yeah.
like we know Wanda. She's now only getting her outing, her solo outing.
And even Kate Bishop, played by
Haley Steinfeld.
Haley Steinfeld, well-known actress, well-known person. So she's already a lot better too, just because of her notoriety.
I reckon they give her more to do. They give her some personality. Like she has a character.
She's funny,
And the one thing I'll say about Echo, like she doesn't necessarily have a character.
She has no character.
It's that she's mad and upset the whole time. But we never. I mean, she's mad because she's upset because her mom's dead.
Yeah.
And her dad got killed by Hawkeye. Spoiler alert.
Well, that's what. Before we get too far ahead, what I was going to say was we were first introduced to her in the Hawkeye show, and in that she kills Kingpin at the very end.
Yeah.
Shoots him in the face. So the beginning of this show sets up her becoming the Queen Pin, which just come on.
Do they use the term Queen Pin?
She says Queen Pin.
She does?
She says Queen Pin.
I must have looked away.
Yeah. No, I feel like me and Caleb talked about how much you probably looked away in the show because you said mid, and I know if you watched it with any sort of attention span, you would not have said mid.
Well, that's the thing too. We watched all those global warming videos or global warming movies, and it didn't suck me in, so I wasn't like giving it my full attention.
Yeah.
It's one of those like. The first episode, it really kind of sets up who she is as a character, not good or bad.
Just sets her up.
And it sort of retreads.
Which is fine. It's fine.
Well, it retreads a lot, too, because it's like, if you didn't watch Hawkeye, which, I don't know.
And I think that's the producers and stuff, because a lot of the mainstream people complain that you have to watch all these other shows to watch this show. So I think they were like, okay, well, this time you won't have to. We're going to cover a lot of what happened.
And it's called a Marvel Spotlight.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I haven't heard them say anything about this Marvel Spotlight.
I heard something vaguely that's the whole idea behind it. Like, oh, you don't need to watch anything else. You can just watch this, and that's a solo project. It's own thing.
So they're learning a little bit to just kind of
maybe
standalone things.
But at the same time, like, would you have benefited a lot more from watching Hawkeye before you watched this?
Oh, for sure, definitely.
Or would you have benefited a lot from watching Daredevil before watching this? Because this is the same Kingpin from they retroactively added the Daredevil stuff
I don't
back
think
into
you
the
would have
timeline.
benefited from watching Daredevil because you don't have to watch any of that to know who Kingpin is.
And I kind of think it's like he acts different. The hammer's different. We talked about.
Yeah, the hammer. They recast the hammer. That hurts. Maybe the first hammer had scheduling issues.
Yeah.
He was using Thor or a Beta Ray Bill spinoff.
Maybe Beta Ray Bill. Well, and that's the thing too. Like normally, if it was a good show, I would say y'all are nitpicking, stupid. But like since the show kind of doesn't give you a whole lot,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's
when
pretty
you
dumb.
also put this hammer in a box covered in velvet cloth,
And it's like,
then it's
holy-
the wrong hammer. You unveil this piece of your childhood that defined who you are as a person,
Well,
and
and
it's the wrong hammer.
I lofted this up to you. I was like, maybe it's just, and I think it is just ultimately like it's an empty show of, oh, I'm Wilson Fisk. I don't really want you to hit me and kill me.
Yeah,
But I want to put this option out there, so I just grabbed any old hammer and put it in a box.
it could be, but
But you said it's in his dream. It's
yeah,
the
it's
same
in the
hammer.
dream realm. It's in the, and there's just so much. We probably could have wrote down a structured way of divulging this series, but it's just so the first 3 episodes are kind of in the sense of well, maybe the first 2 of okay, she's overthrowing everyone, the remnants of Kingpin's army, So she sends this bomb on a train, and it goes to the Wilson Fisk armory in
Also,
New York, and blows it up.
And here's the thing too, I remember them blowing up the guns and stuff, and I'm thinking okay, so we don't none of Fisk's people don't have guns now.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not the case because they all have guns afterwards.
Yeah,
So
so
what
it's
was even the point?
what
It
was
was just to send a message to Wilson Fisk's people to say,
Yeah.
I hit you. This is my turf now. I'm gonna.
And
start
you could have
ruling
hit that
this."
train anywhere. Why go home to do it?
That's the thing. Why does she go home if she wants to take over the crime in New York City? Why does she go home to Oklahoma?
It makes no sense.
She's torn between 2 things. I think she went there to lie low and everything, but then she goes right to her criminal father who has criminal connections.
criminal uncle.
Oh, sorry, uncle.
Her father's dead.
Ronan yoinked him, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, her criminal uncle, and then he's got connections to Fisk. So
Somehow.
well, no, it's and so, what kind of crime is going
Her
through?
hometown just has Native American gangs that work for Wilson Fisk.
Does Wilson Fisk own all the crime in the whole country?
Yeah,
No.
that's the weird thing. He's the kingpin of New York, not the world.
Yeah, if they wanted to tell this specific story, I think they would have done it well in New Jersey or something. I know there's not a huge.
Well, it's closer to New York. It makes it more believable.
Yeah, but there's not a huge Native American population probably in
Yeah.
New Jersey. There's much more representation in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Which is why we're going back there. And that's a lot of the story too. They really focus on her past and her culture and her heritage as a Native American person. A lot of that stuff worked for me. I know you felt opposite.
I did
love
feel like
the back.
it was used well enough because we get this scene of the Choctaw lady, the original Choctaw leader.
Yeah.
They were in a cave. They seem to be some sort of alien gods, something.
Just mythic creatures.
Yeah, and then the cave crashes, and obviously we're not caught up on
This
Choctaw
is the thing. I don't want to.
mythology.
I don't know how accurate this is or whatever, but you could explain it a little bit more.
You can explain it better.
If you're looking to do this mythology and you're looking at we see it and it's pretty.
Yeah,
it's a cool
it's a
thing.
cool
It's got
concept.
the spiral thing.
Yeah,
you know?
and I think, this is gonna be so cool. We're gonna have a lot of exposition. We're gonna understand
gonna be
the mythology
yeah.
stuff. It's gonna be like Thor and Loki, but with Native Americans. We're gonna get some
Which
background.
I would love that. And I
Yeah.
did, like I said, I liked the stuff that we did get. I kind of wish we got more.
Yes, and so they turn into humans, and then she just becomes the leader, and she protects them. They don't say how. They
got
don't say
some-
how the powers work that she has.
She has some sort of undefined like super strength
maybe
because when Maya gets pinned down in the train, she uses her
strength to push it.
glowy hands go
Yeah.
and she pushes the train. So
The powers aren't really well defined. You get this cool, like you said, they do something different where at the beginning of each episode they show a previous ancestor of Maya's, which would have been really cool if I understood what they were doing.
Yeah.
The first lady, she's doing lacrosse, and somehow she gets her glowy hands, and she just
in Alabama, by the way.
against the Cherokees who were in Alabama. Des goes, there are Native Americans in Alabama. I said, Alabama itself is a
Native American
American word.
Yeah.
It means many rivers or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's just not. It's like this Deus Ex Machina of it just does what you needed to do in that moment. The powers.
Let's look at it from this point of view. We always say Marvel shows. We talked earlier today about Miss Marvel,
Maybe
the marvelous Miss Marvel.
the Marvels.
Is it called Captain Marvel?
It's called the Marvels.
What is the show called?
Oh, that's Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel. Thank you. It wasn't long enough. We only had 8 episodes or something, 6, 8 episodes.
Yeah.
It needs 13 to 15 episodes to really flesh out that character and her family and her powers and her abilities. We only got a couple.
And I don't know why they're shying away from these longer episodes. If you don't give fillers, I'll watch. I mean, we watch anime. They're not fillers. Well, some of them are fillers.
Yeah.
But the newer animes, you watch them, they're not filler. There's 15 to 20 episodes of
you
pure
could
content.
easily fill and like do more action sequences. There's maybe 3 or 4 action sequences. Daredevil's in one of them, which is cool.
They totally baited everyone.
They did bait everyone.
My girlfriend only went to watch the show because she saw Daredevil.
Dude, I saw him in like a second of the trailer. I said, he's not going to be in the full thing.
Yeah.
I was like, I know he'll show up at like a minute. But honestly, like I kind of like, okay, that's what I want in the rest of Marvel. I want just like a second of Spider-Man here or there.
Yeah,
it's like they're in New York.
We're in a world, you know?
Pepper a little more in there maybe.
Yeah.
But they're not in New York. The whole thing takes place in Oklahoma.
Daredevil's like wearing a Comanche outfit at
Why
the
am I here?
powwow. Yeah, he's like,
No, they did it. She-Hulk, the end of She-Hulk, he's like, why am I here?
Yeah, because she just makes like the Kevin Feige, who's a robot, says, I want Maddie Murdock. And so he just shows up. He literally falls out of a tree.
They could have just done that here, I guess.
No, we don't even need to talk about how bad She-Hulk was.
Well, how many episodes did She-Hulk have? It had like 20 or something.
No, it was like 8, I think.
No, it had more than that. Because I remember thinking, like, why does She-Hulk get all the episodes and stuff that is cool that people want, they don't give more episodes to?
9 episodes.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, so it would not be a long watch. I could watch it, like, right away.
You could. I wish you would just so you could hate it with me. But, so... Yeah, so the Native American stuff, they do this really cool opening scene of the ancestors using the powers that we don't know about to do really cool things.
There's like a silent film homage, and I thought that was very clever because the main character's deaf. So like I was like, oh, this is the time period that this shooting lady.
And silent films were a thing in the 1800s, so it all worked.
I thought this is clever if we're gonna keep getting stuff like this. But then like she sort of aims her gun at something. She's just like target practice.
Yeah,
it's almost like for no reason.
Yeah,
and I hate saying that because I know she's developing her powers, but like. They keep saying throughout the show, they're like, oh yeah, your ancestors know when we need help.
Yeah,
and then just out of nowhere they start helping.
Yeah, like she's in the disco ball fight, and she goes to shoot someone, and it shows the 1800s lady shooting, and it's like,
how come like
this is not developed enough? I don't know what's going on.
How come when she was in a car wreck as a child, it didn't?
Yeah,
why didn't help out then?
Yeah, throw yourself in front of the truck that's about to T-bone your mom.
I don't know, and that's the reason she's got a leg missing.
Yeah, she missed the leg. Her mom died from it. A problem that I have though with the powers, again, the mom has a healing power with it. Your daughter's deaf and you're deaf. You can't heal yourself. Well, if you can't, explain why you can't heal us.
Right.
What are the limits of the powers? Yeah. What can they only work on creatures? Because all we saw was her healing, but then we saw her try to heal
Fisk.
But
so it didn't necessarily work, did it?
Exactly. So it's like, what are these powers? Please tell me
a little bit more. Yeah,
because I have no idea what's going on.
And it's not like they don't know. Like the grandma, they have this whole exposition scene with the grandma.
Yeah.
Where she's like signing to Maya about how these powers work, and you have cunning and agility, and they never say like super strength. You can actually heal people. They never physically say that.
And then they never say like you can pass these powers to your other people in the same lineage. Yeah. We don't know if they just have it themselves and she can awaken it in them.
It could just be like the ancestors know that they needed them at the time or something. It would have been nice to get an explanation.
5 minutes, give it, because when she went to talk to the grandma, I thought we were about to get so much exposition on the ancestors and the past and these powers that she has.
And then it just turned out to be like them yelling at each other and walking away mad.
Another thing not believable, and this is maybe
it's not believable in a show about Native American.
No, it's the fact that Maya's deaf, which I have no problem with. It's cool.
Yeah.
I have several issues surrounding the deafness. One. Some of the characters that know how to do sign language 20 years after not seeing Maya, it's not believable. Like Biscuits, I love Biscuits, but why does Biscuits still know how to do sign language?
Biscuits, why does the grandpa, why does the uncle?
Like the grandma and Bonnie are the only two I think should still know sign language.
It would make sense if they met her and saw her a bunch, but from what we know,
they haven't seen each other for 20 years.
She is totally isolated from them.
Yeah, and sign language is hard to keep up. You have to keep using that
it's
to remember how to do it.
Every language is like that.
Yeah, so the amount of people that knew sign language from not seeing Maya for 20 years, unbelievable.
I think if I could interject with why they did that, I think it's just to show that like her family really still cares about her.
Yeah.
Even though she's in this like horrible life of crime and she's been, perverted by this system. Fisk has been like made her into a weapon and all this horrible stuff. She's still loved by her family. Yeah. And they're still there for her at the end of the day, even though she's been in New York for 20 plus years. I think that's what we wanted.
It just doesn't feel.
It doesn't hit for you.
Yeah. It just doesn't feel believable that they would keep up with something like that. Like, yeah, love her all day long, but I mean, if I haven't seen my cousin in 20 years, I'm not every day practicing sign language for the day that I eventually see my cousin.
Another weird sign language thing, like Fisk gives her this little contact that like shows her what he's signing.
Are so bad.
It looks pretty rough. But he's got a little like translator in his thing, so like I'm assuming he has a contact that like translates what her sign language says into his ear.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. Like, what are we doing here?
It's almost too instantaneous. It's not believable.
It's fine. I can suspend my disbelief to see that would happen.
I would
in real
believe
life.
that more than all of her family still knows sign language. You know?
Yeah.
And then
Because this is the world where Iron Man went back in time.
Yeah.
I can put all this in my head and rationalize it. It's just when you don't explain it, I get a little, and not the eye thing. The eye thing was just funny because like it's a character detail for Fisk because like he put all this time and effort and money into like the software, but he's not gonna just learn sign language. And if he's around her enough, wouldn't he just pick up some stuff anyway?
Yeah.
The action I thought was fine.
the action was good.
I thought it was good action. There was a scene,
there
like
was-
you said, in a laser tag arena.
Yeah.
That was kind of fun. That whole bit where like one of the guys at the skate rink like calls Fisk's people.
Yeah.
And then he has like these two white trash ladies like
Yeah.
watching.
Why you have them watching
Yeah.
a hired killer who has supposedly killed Wilson Fisk? You know what I mean?
And we got like white trash Betty and white trash
Who works
Tammy.
at the local Waffle House. You know?
Well, hey, they might have more superpowers than we think if they work at the Waffle House.
That's true.
You know, they'd be fighting at the Waffle House.
Yeah, the chair bending.
Well, and she builds this little gun we were talking about.
Yeah.
She like shoots like washers out or something.
So weird.
I didn't get why they needed that.
They didn't.
They could have just
She shot out a light, and it's like, okay, now you can't hear or see. Very good job.
better good.
I did like it was a nice touch when people would be yelling and we couldn't hear them because we're from her point of view and
Yeah.
she has no idea what's going on.
There was-
I like that.
There were certain times where they would cut all sound, and
Yeah.
it would just be like her doing a fight scene or her like, watching something or paying attention to something.
Or you get like the heartbeat where it's just the heartbeats, and
Yeah.
I like that.
What about the costume at the end? Did you like her costume?
No, I didn't like that. The costume felt forced. I feel like most shows these days, when you come into your own, you get a costume, which is cool. Most of the time, it's a cool costume, and most of the time, it's a cool moment.
You don't need to earn your costume. You can just be. You can have a costume, or like, what is Maya at the end of this? Is she a superhero? Is she a supervillain?
I know in the comics
she
she's
an
labeled
anti-hero?
an anti-hero.
Okay, but like, what is her motivation going forward?
I don't know.
What is her motivation in the show?
Nothing.
Just
She
to
wants
save
be-
her family.
Yeah,
But she abandons her family like less than a second away. So it's like, I'll abandon my family. I'll see this bird that my mom magically healed, and then I'll come back to save my family.
And what another problem is, I have so many problems with this. One though, when we talk about family, you think that there's going to be this big dramatic climactic resolution to Bonnie and Maya because they have such a strong connection.
Bonnie, they build her up the whole show. She's
And
not.
then she shows up, sees her. There's no drama there. There's no. There was a little bit of I miss you and stuff, but there wasn't enough for there to be a fallout resolution.
There was something like, I sent you all this text, all these messages, you didn't respond.
And then Bonnie just forgives her.
Yeah, and it's like right away they forget. I mean, I
Maya
understand.
goes,
It's family.
I'll protect you. And then she instantly gets kidnapped by Fisk. Liar.
That too, like, okay, so in the Daredevil show, when Fisk shows up somewhere, like when Fisk is talking to like Karen or something, it's like, oh crap, she doesn't know he's like a super murderer.
It's anytime he shows up in Daredevil alone with a character, you're like, they're dead.
They're dead. And then there's a moment in this where like he shows up and he's with the grandma.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, she's about to something's about to happen.
Yes.
And then they just kind of cut. Like he's like, tell me about your daughter.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, I learned sign language from my daughter. Oh, I'm trying to learn from my niece.
Yeah.
Oh, my granddaughter's still. Okay. And then the scene's over. We understand he kidnaps her, but like, why don't we see that? Like, why don't we like Fisk a lot? He's one of the best. Marvel knows that. They're building the whole street level thing to fight.
Vincent D'Onofrio is I loved Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin as a kid. Don't get me wrong. Phenomenal.
He does a good job too.
D'Onofrio came on the scene, I was like, this is like Hugh Jackman level casting.
It's really good
casting. He was
casting.
made to be the Kingpin.
And I'm glad that he's like signed on for all this stuff, but like use him. Like he's
Yes.
only in a couple things. He's got like a little he's got like a little scar
that's
somehow.
another gripe I have. How did he survive a gunshot to the mother eyeball?
Well, he's the Kingpin.
That's not good.
He's got
somehow Kingpin has survived. That's that level of writing right there.
No, sometimes you get shot in the head and live. That just happens.
I need an explanation for that, dude.
He just didn't. She didn't. His brain. It went to the side of his skull or something. I don't know.
That makes zero sense.
No, that happens. She must just be a bad shot.
Well, I can believe that honestly.
Google.
My girlfriend Des, shout out, hates the fact that she went toe to toe with Daredevil. Because this is like, that's bullshit.
Well,
I'm tired
he
of
beat her.
Well, she was like, because she was mad at the She-Hulk too. She was like, why are all these strong women coming up and beating up Daredevil? No, you can't beat up Daredevil. He's Daredevil.
Also, it's like you're beating up a blonde man. Like,
yeah, wow. Have some dignity, dude.
They don't know he's blind. No, the Daredevil fight's good in this. I like how like they come in, they bust up this like gang, whatever.
Yeah.
And Daredevil's like, I've been watching them all night, and y'all just come in here and ruin everything.
Yeah.
I'm pissed, and he starts beating them up and stuff.
But Des is like, how did she go toe to toe?
Well,
he says that. How does that happen?
She ends up standing up and being like, because she's got magic. She
didn't use magic. It was straight up fighting.
I don't know how often she gets the magic, but like it seems like she's always been kind of magic.
I don't like that explanation either. It's not well written.
It needs to say, like, you need to tell us this is what happened.
Like, there are some times that we just need exposition dumps, Like, I don't want a whole bunch of tell, don't show, but sometimes...
You love exposition.
I love exposition, dog.
No, but there's a...
but I need it to make sense, though, too. You know what I mean?
I can kind of see, if we're talking metaphorically and, like, the themes and the tones of whatever... Like at the end where they're all kind of tied up and then she gives her power to the family and then they break out. It's like her choosing her heritage and her actual family over her like forced adopted whatever. That's what they want you to they want you to feel. Yeah. Do we feel that?
No.
I don't think so.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Biscuits was my favorite part of this whole show.
Did Biscuits die? What happened to Biscuits?
No, but I was really scared he was going to. The second I saw him, I told Des, I said, he's probably going to die, and I'm going to feel real bad.
He like upgraded his truck into a monster truck.
Yeah, he said, I got something better than guns, and then runs over both vans with a monster truck.
I was like, I'm glad that they didn't overdo comic relief in this.
Yeah.
But like... Okay, right? Like I'm saying because we've been harping on how the Marvel humor is.
Yeah.
Biscuits didn't feel like a forced thing.
He felt like Foggy a lot.
He did feel kind of like Foggy.
He felt like a Foggy character.
And also too, like the grandpa was funny.
I love the grandpa.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. Like I liked that type of humor and it was all good. The only thing is like
natural. It didn't feel forced.
It did feel natural, and the whole show is very dark and sour. So I'm glad they added in that brevity, but like. Not every character needed to do that. I'm glad that Maya was kind of moody. If she was moody the whole time, she didn't like try to force jokes at the end. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they could have done that.
Like Cyborg from Justice League. He's all moody the whole time, and then at the very end he says "booyah."
I can't feel my toes. I didn't know I couldn't. Or what is it?
Yeah, it's something like
my
that.
My toes hurt.
And it's like, Joss Whedon, please, dude.
Just take us out of our misery.
Read the room. Read the room, bud.
Read the room. Anyway, yeah, I thought there was some okay stuff.
If you want to talk about the good things, I don't have any good things to talk about.
I just thought the action was fun. I thought some of the characterization of the Native American heritage stuff was cool.
They did well. I just wish there was more. Like, again, most of it is just I want more.
They could have leaned into it heavier.
Better.
Like, in a show like this, you don't have to do it, like, total serial. You could just do it a little bit, like, episodic, where here's an episode where one of Maya's ancestors is doing something. The game.
Yeah.
The
lacrosse game.
Lacrosse. Okay, so now she's in a situation where she needs to think tactically. Yeah. And so, like, at the end of that episode, the climax of that episode, have Maya be like, okay, I need to, like, find a way to put this bomb in this train tactically, and there's, like, people chasing her or whatever. Maybe she does a clever thing, and that's sort of, like, it kind of cuts in with footage of, like, the lacrosse game. Do some stuff like that where it's, like, back and forth.
Yes,
like, we feel a little bit more.
Bottom line for me, I wouldn't recommend the show.
No.
If you want to hate watch it, I'm all about hate watching shows. So if you want to hate watch it and come in the comments and be like, oh, it's awful. Or if you liked it, tell us what you liked about it. Maybe we're looking at it at a wrong angle. Please. Because like he said, Rotten Tomatoes gave it 72?
74.
74%. And... I mean, 68 is very mid. Yeah, I would say so.
I think that's my concern. I didn't hate it. Like, I thought it was better than something like.
I hate it.
It was better than something like Ant-Man because it felt like there was like a heart to it.
What, Ant-Man 3?
Yeah, Ant-Man 3.
Because Ant-Man 1 was phenomenal.
It's fine.
What?
It's fine.
Okay.
You think it's phenomenal? The first Ant-Man.
I loved Ant-Man. Thought it was very funny.
It was funny. Anyway, it's better than Ant-Man 3. It's better than like Eternals. I mean. I feel like there's at least something going on.
I don't know. I think Eternals is better.
You think Eternals is better than this?
Just because the scenes were cooler and they had superpowers
that
were explained.
They did explain the
and you get like the cosmicness of it. I love the grand scale of the Eternals, even though the movie itself flopped.
It was kind of cool when we saw Celestials.
Yeah, like when you see the grand thing and then you get the Blade mentioned at the end and you've got Kit Harington leading to being the not the Dark Knight.
I have no clue.
Anyway, he's supposed to have
that whole thing confused me. I was like, was Sword?
Yeah. But anyway, I think the Eternals was better than
I think this had some... It had like...
A lot of things.
It didn't follow through for me. Echo.
Fred Claus was better than Echo.
If you say so. This had a lot of like the family themes and the values and stuff. I didn't understand Fisk's motivation. I didn't understand Maya's motivation really. I understand Maya wanted to be around her family, but then like she wouldn't talk to her family when she was there.
Yeah. Well, she can't talk, dickhead.
You.
way to not be.
She didn't communicate.
Inclusive.
She didn't communicate with her family when she was there. She did like it was just a weird. The whole thing was. I know she was like trying to get like into the crime gang, but like once Fisk is there, what's her motivation at all?
Yeah.
just to run away from Fisk at that point.
And that's why the final few episodes didn't make sense, because before she wanted to be the new Queenpin.
Yeah.
Now she wants to stop Fisk for some reason. Like,
Just 'cause he's
you've
bad? I
known
don't
Fisk
know.
longer than you've known your family, you know? He's done more for you. He did lie. Don't get me wrong. He's a bad guy, but
he also beat up that one guy for not giving you ice cream when you
like
asked
he
for it.
genuinely, in his own weird, twisted, demented way, cares for you.
Did you like that scene where he's like,
I did.
he's like, you need to be nice to the deaf girl.
Oh, I love it.
And he,
I
like,
love
beat
it.
the crap
I
out of
love
him.
unhinged Wilson Fisk. You know what I mean?
I wish I got some more of that. Anyway,
Yeah, that's our review of Echo.
solid 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10.
Solid 3.7.
Are you done with Marvel after this? We're done watching Marvel shows?
No, I have a problem. I admit it. Listen, guys.
At this point, why are you watching them?
I love superhero stuff. I will always watch Marvel, DC stuff. I will hate the bad stuff. Don't get me wrong, but I'll be there for the good.
Okay.
So tune in next year when we get some more Marvel stuff. We're not getting anything, I don't think, the rest of this year.
That's fine.
I'm okay with
let
that.
it rest.
Let it simmer for a
Let
little
it
bit.
simmer.
Go back to the drawing board. Figure out what you're doing.
What is the next thing? Is it like Fantastic Four?
I think so. I think the problem is too.
No, it's like
that,
Deadpool. We'll get,
Yeah.
we'll get-
Oh,
are
we
we-
get that this year. I think.
Is it this year?
I think we get that this year.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah. I think with the Jonathan Majors things, they have to take it to the
Oh,
drawing
yeah.
board with a lot of that stuff.
Well, luckily, Loki and Ant-Man 3 wrapped that up pretty well.
Yeah.
We don't ever have to mention him again.
Luckily, Loki season 2 was phenomenal. Go watch it if you have not. You still haven't watched it.
I haven't seen it.
And this has been 2.5 months since you said you were going
Just
to.
over Marvel stuff. Watching this was a bore. Like, it was a slog.
And then you still just called it mid. I don't understand.
At least it wasn't like 12 hours. At least it was only like 5 hours.
But yeah, that's our review for Echo. Like I said, some people online gave it better reviews than us, so you
I
may
kinda
like
do-
it more than
I
us.
kind of do. I tried looking for reviews where people were saying good things about it, and all I saw was people complaining about how she's a woman, how she's deaf, how she's Native
like
American.
those aren't
like,
creative criticisms.
That's just-
like actually critique the
Right,
show. You know,
yeah.
like we don't hate that she's Native American. We don't hate that she's disabled or
No,
deaf.
yeah.
It's the fact that everything else around it is bad.
it was that they didn't explain much for me, and it
Yeah.
felt a little loosey goosey.
Yeah, it didn't feel like a good cohesive show.
But there was some fun stuff about it. I don't see it as a total zero.
Biscuits
like
was
you
the
do.
only fun thing for me.
Well, at least you like biscuits. You
I
know?
love Biscuits, dog. He was cool.
with a little bit of gravy and
Little
jelly.
bit of gravy.
Oh,
I love that he like broke his grandma's truck and she like looks up. He's driving down
that's
the
a
road. And
funny
he's like,
scene.
and then just keeps driving. She's just like,
Then he upgraded. He's like, you could fix it with anything in this junkyard, and
Yeah.
he makes like a massive monster
yeah.
truck. It's kind of fun.
He's like, trying to sell my PS4,
Yeah.
$120,
Poor
please.
guy. Poor guy.
Got to give up gaming. That's tough.
Anyway, let us know what you liked or didn't like. We'll see you in the next one.
Yep. See you later.